Yeah, why? Why is this not where it's supposed to be? Uh, that's the... Aw. So the pen is not at the right position. Is that because I made it scuffed, or is it for an acceptable reason? Oh, it's scuffed, okay. Now it's correct. Amazing. The stream quality might be really bad today, because my poor laptop will have to handle streaming to Discord and streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So we might have frame drops. It's rather fast. I know you're gonna ask. I can play later today, like after this. Okay. We're gonna be coaching EQ tonight. For a bit of context for the 3 viewers who are here right now. EQ is a player I've coached a bit so far. Like personally coached. And basically they're playing Machine on a Coolerless team right now. And they've asked me about speed and how to play fast. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today, most likely. We'll just wait for everything to be correct. Yes, I am a Splatoon 3 coach. So far I've done everything just like privately from people who like reach out to me via Discord DMs, and this is the first time I'm trying to live stream it. It will be scuffed. That's oh, my mic is 1 second. Okay, my mic should be better now. It will be scuffed because it's the first edition of this format. So get ready for everything to break and fall apart. How good? Okay, that's a really difficult question. How good am I at Splatoon? Because I'm a competitive player. That means that I've played a lot of tournaments. I've played against a lot of other competitive players. If I'm not sure if you're in touch with the competitive community. If yes, then like divisions might say something. And for that, like I'd be around Division 4. Which is like maybe top 30% of competitive players. It's a really difficult question to answer. I have part of that I have a video on, which is the "Should You Trust Me" video. I think the most recent one I uploaded. I tried to answer part of that question right there, and also why it's not a really that much of a helpful question. It's just really difficult to answer. Okay. Hello there. Hello there,
That
Q.
is, yeah.
How are you
I,
doing on this fine afternoon?
I'm good. I'm great. I just played one game of Rainmaker. AP.
Huge.
I love playing Rainmaker.
What was the
I,
rotation?
it's like Inkball and something else. I just played like one
Oh
game of
dear.
Open because I didn't have like more time. So I think I have like one.
Inkblot.
Um,
Um, Inkblot Rainmaker. That is certainly a map mode. Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god, Omni's in the chat.
Omni is indeed
It's
in the chat.
Jover.
Hello there, Omni.
Okay. Holy, bro, it's on machine. Wait, base weapon pick.
I was
Holy.
just on it because the coding session is partially about machine. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
I've told you before, this is
mhm,
kind of about, like, I kind of want to talk about speed. It's more like an overall topic, more like less than a focus. It's like I want to get into the mindset of doing all my decisions based on the fact that we have a comp that doesn't rely on cooler and is too fast for cooler, right?
mhm,
Um, yeah, because on some games it feels like I try to make aggressive openings, but I end up either like dying in them, or I play too passive and then they get cooler. Like I don't quite know how to position myself where I get like value from it without instantly shooting. Because this is a very weird game. You'll
mhm.
see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Speed is a really difficult thing, and to some
Hmm.
degree, I'm not the correct person to ask about this. Um, because I'm like, from how I've played the game so far, I've been a relatively patient player. Um, in that like, I what I usually do is I wait for people to make mistakes and then push off that.
Right.
That's a really generalized answer, but like to give you a rough idea. Um, So if you've talked with Infa about this before, then Infa knows a lot more than me about speed.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Infa also just plays the game way faster than me. Um, but I'll try to give my perspective at least. It may not be necessarily the correct perspective, but it is a perspective.
Yeah. I
That's what
just
I can
like
offer.
I wanna hear about it, and I do think I definitely make some mistakes that I wanna just like go over and
Hmm.
flatten out.
Okay. Have you seen, because this is really good timing, have you seen Kyo's post about speed like 2 or 3 days ago?
Yes, I have. I don't think I don't know if it was a thread or not because I only
Yeah, it was like
read
three
like the first
messages.
thing.
And
Yeah, okay. I
the
didn't
third
see
message
the
was the
other
important
two,
one.
but I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure it's pretty much what Infa covered when I was talking to him about it.
Interesting.
Um,
Hmm.
like the main part that I would take away from Infa is like usually the way I look at like taking positions is it's like a step by step thing, right? For like Umami, on retake you'd want to clear around the block, then you'd want
Hmm.
to clear dome, then you want to clear the court for you, and then you want to go to top mid, right?
Yeah.
The way that like Infa explained it to me, at least, which I feel like it fits into the idea of efficiently playing the game,
Hmm.
is that instead of doing all these steps because they take long, you just take the most important position instantly. So instead of just clearing the block in like your base, you instantly go dome. Or if they're all on dome, you just drop left and instantly go top mid. Like making the and instead of just like slowly pushing people away, making the big plays fast, you know?
Interesting.
I might have like obviously, you know, this is just from what I pick up verbally, made like Infa definitely thinks about it probably on a deeper level than that. But it's how I at least understood it.
Interesting. That would make sense. With the idea just being like, if we skip steps, which like so far in my coaching I probably told you not to do, to like if we skip steps, if like they are holding this relatively much and we are able to break through and get like somewhere around here on the map, then we'll be able to like force them off that position. Because maybe I've talked about this with you before. Ultimately, this game, like Splatoon 3 as a game, comes down to like having good team fights, having fights where the enemy like can't do anything because you are like ganging up on them. You have like one person coming from here and one person sloshing over that from here or something. And then like the best they can realistically do is trade. And part of playing aggressively, part of playing fast would be to try to take more aggressive angles, to try to the chat message, it's Monday, caught me off guard. It is Monday. To like if we skip the step of just trying to run it from the front onto dome, and if we instead try to take those angles instead, then we'll either force the enemy team to back off, to back off, or to take a fight where we like encircle them completely. And that would make sense. We'll take a look at the actual game. Generally, I want to repeat what Kyo said about speed, which is that speed isn't about W keying. Speed isn't about just going forward. Speed is about taking space where you can, being efficient, like going as fast and as far forward as you possibly can, but also knowing your boundaries and not going too far. Because if you die, then you lose all your speed. Especially in a coolerless comp where deaths are a bit more punished. It's a lot more punishing if you overstep your boundaries. So you have to get a good intuition of like, where can I go? Which like weird angles that people don't expect me to take can I take without getting punished for that. We'll see how this comp goes. Generally, like, coolerless is always interesting. And you have a lot of weapons that can thrive off coolerless. I think coolerless with bow always works relatively nicely. And something like Octobrush is really good with coolerless because it can shark more often. And it doesn't have to wait for cooler in a lot of circumstances. It can just take those angles and go in, which is part of what coolerless is, right? It's just you don't have to wait for enemy angles. Get cooler.
Yeah, Octobrush is pretty much the weapon that inspired us to just ditch pen, because we kept being in a situation where it's like, okay, Octobrush is just already further by the time we get cooler.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. And I deeply respect the decision to go coolerless, even though I've always played with cooler. It's like, if you notice that it maybe doesn't work, then experimenting without playing cooler is always really good. Yeah. So I think part of why this like opening goes wrong is actually because of speed. Because I think we can take this a bit faster. The opening is relatively fast so far, and it seems so far because we moved very fast out of spawn that we want to be like the first person on the stack. That would make a lot of sense for our weapon, because like our weapon is really good behind this block or something. Wait, we can go up actually. Like Machine would be really good around these parts of the map just because you can slosh over here, can slosh like on the step right here. If you get far enough, you can slosh on this ledge as well, right?
Yeah.
And I think the fizzy actually slows us down a bit here because we throw the fizzy, we allow them to get to the spot before us, which is part of like trying to play fast. Is trying to go as much forward as possible until you encounter enemies. And in this case, we gave them a bit of space for free because we didn't go forward enough. Fizzy like is a really good weapon to control, like a really good sub to control space. I don't know where it lands actually. Around here.
Yeah, my idea was like to throw it behind because like oftentimes people jump on the block, but they were faster. So by the time that my fizzy kind of lands on the block and explodes, they're already top mid.
Yeah.
So my fizzy does nothing.
And that's kind of the thing with fizzy, right? That's like the only downside this sub weapon has, is that it has a charge time. Because this sub weapon is broken in every other regard.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe not as much after they like changed it in a bit that it doesn't cover as much space. But it's a really strong sub. And the thing that like balances is that it has a charge. That you have to wait for like half a second before you can throw a fully charged one. And I think especially on like opening, where we want to position our main weapon in a spot where it can do a lot of damage, it would be better to try to prioritize that. I'm not sure. That's my opinion. Maybe like throwing a fizzy can work because then your Octobrush can follow up. That
I actually
could also be an
thinking
idea.
about it now, right? Because the situation where you want to throw bombs is when your main weapon can't do it, but like my main weapon can cover that angle anyways.
Yes, exactly.
So thinking about it, actually, that fizzy does nothing because I can just go up and shoot at that block.
Yeah, exactly. Because you want to be smart about your sub weapon usage, because it costs so much ink, especially on like a more ink-hungry weapon like Machine. When you can do it with your main weapon as well, why waste the ink of a sub weapon, right? So yeah, good point. I agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, then we get punished by the shot. That makes sense. And now I'm curious how this is gonna go, because we are the first person alive, and like my quote-unquote slow intuition is to hold the choke point, and try to do that for as long as possible until they get strikes, and then back up. But I'm curious about what you do and what like the more fast idea would be, because ultimately if you want to try to play faster, then you want to put yourself in like more aggressive positions probably. Okay. Yeah, strikes do come out. Interesting drop. They are three cooler players right here.
My idea was that I call it out, and as I drop, like Octobrush kind of runs through our choke, and so that was my idea behind it. But I might have even like I either took it too fast or like I was kind of pushed into this shitty situation already, so I was like, okay.
I think this the idea isn't bad, to be fair. I really like the idea of saying I'm doing this like relatively stupid drop, in that like they will punish me for this drop, but at the same time there's gonna be 3 people looking at me, so because I take this drop, then my team can run in and like take all of this space probably. So I'm not opposed to that idea. I think it doesn't work out because like the strikes backed up your team too far. Like there isn't any paint here, and like strikes just ended, so your team can only just now go forward again.
I'd made the drop too early.
Yeah, probably. You were, it's weird because you were probably gonna get punished anyway if you stayed up here. Because like you were boxed in with the strikes, and like the blaster just needs to shoot at you once. So it's a weird situation for sure. Maybe we could have prevented it if we went to like dome really, really fast. I'm curious if we had time for that.
I had. I could have thrown a fizzy straight and just gone dome. Yeah.
We could have gone
I didn't think about it.
Because then that's a really nice angle for your team to have. And I think that would go in line with being fast as well. Because just being here the enemy team can't really run in forward anymore. If they do,
Yeah.
then they're gonna get double teamed from you from like different angles.
Mhm.
And if the enemy team doesn't watch out, you can take this ink rail. Probably not as a machine, but maybe. But like
If
it
if
opens up
if
this
you
drop.
coordinate it
The
right,
enemy is gonna have to
yeah,
look at it for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if they strike, they're okay. If they strike correctly, then they can kill me without issue. Like, they can strike behind me, so I'm like forced to dome while striking twice right, and then my team is backed off, and I'm forced to dome, and I just run through. But that's like the ideal case.
Yeah.
More often than not, they're just gonna like straight up through one straight at dome, and then okay, I back up, lol.
Yeah. That's what I think
It's just
happens as well.
yeah.
Because like while there is a chance if they throw a
Mhm.
really good strike like behind you that you're gonna be in a weird situation, then even then, like your team can kind of move forward here, right? Probably because the strikes are focused on you.
Yeah, my mind was too focused on kind of like
Mhm.
I don't even know. I could have just run dome. It's an important position to take, and my weapon is crazy good on it. I should have
Yeah.
just taken it. Yeah.
I'm it's curious because like for playing fast, those kind of like really small decisions matter a lot probably.
Sure.
Yeah. Because like I'm assuming you also played with the idea of dropping here. Because like there's a ledge here for your weapon to play around, and we want to
Yeah.
take different angles. And that's why we didn't commit to this, or we didn't think of doing it.
Mm.
Maybe. Maybe like I have a few different ideas here. I think the like best play would have been to just go dome right here. But I'm
Mhm.
curious if like another idea would be to just like after respawn just full on drop right here. Just like from spawn drop here, because then they can't punish the drop. And then they're gonna have to like look into pit a lot. I think that could have worked as well. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but the spawns are still a bit out. If you see the octopus just kind of just died now.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
So
I agree.
if it's all about if when you drop, right? If they're in your base and you drop far, then yeah, that could probably work. But like if you look at where they are right now, if you drop
Yeah.
now, they're just gonna like change their plan from taking your plat to killing you and then taking your plat.
Yeah, true.
But
I agree.
I see what you mean, and I do that later in the game actually.
No, we'll see how it goes then.
So you could see how it goes. But it is yeah.
Drop right here. That's another thing to consider. They had cooler. And you are a coolerless comp, so it's a bit different for you. But like usually there should still be some sort of idea of saying to play like a bit more for life if the enemy has cooler.
Yeah.
Because trade like is good for them. I have not played coolerless much, so I don't know how much that applies to coolerless. Oh, that's an unfortunate wipe.
I would say you can yeah, this is just I do a bit of a silly play where I get out because I noticed there's two people looking at me. And now this is where you can
Good
kind
job
of see like
backing
there are no domes, so I'm like, okay. I called it out that I'm gonna be dropping left and like we should
You
full
have
go
Booyah,
left.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we zip, we jump and I booyah, and that's actually the
Nice. Yeah. This is really good. This is really good.
Like I dropped left, two people kind of looked at me. They see like I fizzied, they know I'm gonna be dropping there. I have booyah to save my ass as well. And while I'm doing that, it's a bit unfortunate with crab at the same time because I feel like the crab is kind of like pressuring the squeezer and pen, but then the people are fast out of the crab range. Like we crab now, we crab dome. I think the pen just like they just repositioned.
And we died to blast as well. That's an unfortunate crap. But yeah, like from your perspective, like I really like this play. Because we have Booyah, and that's the one thing that's really good about Machine when trying to play a bit more aggressive. Like the main weapon got nerfed, so it doesn't have a great kill time. In fact, it has a really bad one. The sub weapon is maybe the not one where you connect it with playing fast a lot, but Booyah is really, really good for playing fast. Booyah gives you a shield. Booyah means you can run in and use that shield when you get in a weird situation. And then you get a spirit bomb afterwards as well.
Yep.
So like playing for your special when you want to play aggressive like you do here is really good. Because this allows us to take this drop. We stall them, they are almost dead. I would be surprised if your team doesn't clean this up. And then we get the Booyah to stay alive as well. In a situation where the Squeezer would have otherwise killed us. That's really good. Good job. And I think like
I should have
that
chased this guy down.
that illustrates where playing fast works well. Like we're taking these different angles like faster than you normally would, like works really well because you had the resources to do so. Okay, you said you should have chased this guy down. Let's see.
Yeah, they're in the zone. I think at this point I was a bit like I had a bit more respect of them because they they diffed me mechanically a bunch of times. So I was kind of afraid to just run into this guy.
And to be fair, there are a few different people here. Like this guy's behind Dome now, but like it would have been a really difficult fight if we continued going forward. Where are they? Yeah, not quite here. Yeah. This is a weird spot, I think. Let's see. Yeah, we forced them back.
I should have been like it was a bit of a disconnected play, right? If it was Doolies and Octobrush running in while I was pressuring Dome, because right, I thought there was someone going Dome, so that's why I pressured it.
Yeah.
But like the fact that Doolies didn't go in, it's kind of like if I went with the Octobrush, because Octobrush got definitely a bunch of people weak and killed one person.
Yeah.
So I could have probably cleaned that up if that was like more coordinated. Like if you see me, I literally like we're on the same path and then I go to the other side.
Yeah, that's
true. I should have just committed to going in because that's probably our way in there.
Yeah.
Because now we can't get into the core anymore.
And Cooler just went out as well, right? So everyone's gonna be bunched up there. Yeah, Cooler just went out. Yeah.
I forced
the
agree. T-Tech back. Yeah.
Like if the dualies were there, which they aren't, like communication about this would be good. Just like in team calls about where you are and what you want to do. Then this would have been a fine idea. But I do agree, like considering the Octobrush running in right now, which is a totally valid play because they are all in this group hug circle, and like it makes sense for them to be because cooler. We could punish that a lot. Because yeah, a lot of them are gonna be low. Okay, I see that. Yeah, I agree.
That's just an unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. I try to kind of like hold the space, but I just get rushed down. I should have just backed up to mid, to be honest. Probably. Even in a combo you want to play fast, they have cooler. They just killed a person of ours. I need to play at least a tiny bit back because you see what happens. I just get rushed down.
And I think that's the point where we need to differentiate between the idea of fast and between the idea of efficient, because it's not efficient to go forward and die. And that has nothing to do with being fast. And yeah, just staying here is the same as dying because they have cooler and they have like weapons that can kill you faster than you can kill them. What we could maybe do is like take an angle like this. Just if we want to take different angles as a team. Because like your team is already here, right? You don't need a third person here. In fact, it would be pretty annoying if we had 3 people right here. Like either backing up like here, because holding from here is also really nice. Just like from here you can punish people who want to run a top mid. Or like holding from here, or like if we want to take a more like aggressive weird angle, like holding from here and maybe even going further down.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I even go into pit because there is a pillow that can save me from the squeezer sideline.
Yes.
And I could, if it works out and they look at me, I waste so much time that the Octobrush could probably jump back in.
Yeah, exactly.
And the 2 people could hold top mid.
Yeah. I agree. Because like maybe the pen can beam you. If they can't, then this wastes a lot of time for them. So yeah, I think that would be another idea for playing fast. Again, like fast is a playstyle, and playstyle like we can view playstyles as different ideas what to do when we aren't sure what's the right one. So in this case, because our playstyle is to play fast, we aren't sure which of those ideas is necessarily the right one, but we can choose like maybe one of the more aggressive ones because that's our playstyle.
Right.
And then obviously, like over time, you get better at realizing which of those options work and which won't. And that's then part of the general like learning process. Okay. We do stagger a bit here. Yeah, we stagger a lot here. I guess that's the like dangerous part about like doing a lot of those jump-ins. Is like if it goes wrong, if the enemy is able to push us fast enough, then we get staggered and probably lose more control than we had to. Because if we swam in, we could have held this probably, maybe even like this. And like this is gonna look bad on the replay, like on the graph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how we get out of this though. Well, we don't yet. We trade. This is a decent trade, I guess, because they weren't cool at.
You're still in disadvantage, so I really don't like it. I thought it was quite a safe play, but
yeah.
I trade it. So it's an S blast.
Like technically the trade like favors them because they are in control. At the same time, this S blast is positioned like in a really annoying spot, and it's nice getting rid of them. And like, if you're playing Coolerless, then doing those kind of normal trades usually favors you a bit more, because if you wait, then they're gonna get cooler, and then doing those trades would be bad for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends. I don't know how much we're gonna be able to move forward from this. Yeah, we do kind of keep staggered as a team. This is a nice angle from the Octobrush. We're here to help it. Yeah, not enough, unfortunate. Yeah, this was difficult. Oh, how are they not dead? Hey? Oh, it was a fall off.
Fall off. Okay. So this guy is probably I'm gonna be so for real. This guy might actually be 99.9 right now.
Yeah.
Because of fall off. There is a chance that this guy is 99.9.
Yeah. I was like,
I was
because that's not a lot of fall off. Yeah, I was I was expecting him to be dead as well.
Yeah, I indirect then direct. And I was like, oh, I literally at that point, right? It's like you're used to these plays, so you like call out, okay, this guy's dead, and then he's not, and then my brain short circuits, and I just jump down to secure the kill.
Yeah. That makes sense. I expected them to be dead as well.
Yeah. It happens. I need to remain calm when it happens. And I need to know my weapon's like damage range a bit better to know that fall off from that range is not killing.
I guess, yeah.
Like where I am. I'm surrounded by the gang at that point.
Yeah. That's like actually it's like a council meeting to discuss your dead body, I don't know.
That is crazy.
To be fair, those 3 players are in a really stupid position.
Also, to be fair, no one is alive.
No one is alive.
Yeah, so we can't capitalize over that.
There's no one that can use that.
If I was alive, maybe that is actually not even that.
I mean, actually, we can probably hold this if we AoE it. We don't, unfortunate.
Yeah, this is like unfortunate because the on God, I like all of our retakes were kind of with Zip. It's kind of weird, but it kind of worked.
I mean, Zip is good for retakes.
It's just very risky because of the recall.
Yes, but usually you'd expect something to happen before the recall. Usually you'd expect like we get a pick or we are able to secure like the zone where the recall is before that happens. Because Zip as a specialist, like sometimes you just don't expect you to live if you use Zip and you just say I'm gonna go for a trade or something. And at that point you don't care about the recall anyways. And just like say I'm gonna distract people, I'm gonna hopefully trade, maybe even more than that, and that's good. Because Zipcaster is like, has insane momentum. This special is really good at momentum, because it forces players to look at it. That's the first part. So the enemy team can't really like run in anymore, or like do what they wanted to do, because to some degree some of them will have to look at the Zipcaster. And it has the potential to get like a double or triple kill if done right. And that's ultimately what like means it has a lot of momentum, because it can do a lot of damage if people don't respect it. So people have to respect it.
For sure.
And sometimes it
And
still gets kills even though people respect it. And another idea on retakes is just like, hopefully we're gonna be moving up in general. So like even if I use the recall right here, if we continue to move up as a team, then it will be safe. So yeah, it is risky. Zipcaster is always risky. That's just how the special works. But like, good Zipcaster users are like insane and can make this work really nicely. They're doing a lot of good jobs here. Yes, yes, fight this, fight this, fight this. Yes, 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 yes. Not as fast as we could have, like as a team. Like we could have followed up on this fight a bit faster, like the rest of your team. Not you, you did this well. But like they are in a really bad position here, and we should fight this immediately. Because like, even though a lot of things go wrong right here, like we don't hit any directs, there's not like any follow-up from the team from this side, we still like trade out. Like that was the worst possible thing that could have happened in this situation, is that we have a 2-for-2 trade. And in most situations it would have been better.
Yeah.
So like, good job on taking this fight. And in that case, like, it doesn't matter that we like mechanically messed up. Like, yeah, it could have been better, but like the fight itself was good enough that it like that it worked anyway. Oh.
Yeah, looking back at this, I realized it right when I died. One, I could have thrown a fizzy to just kill him faster, because I kind of... it's kind of weird. S+ is a very weird weapon to fight with other AoE comps, because compared to stuff like Blaster, or Bucket, or Machine, S+ doesn't have an issue fighting up close.
Yeah.
S+ is chilling up close. Where it's like, you kind of just have to kill it fast.
Yeah.
That is the most reliable thing that I learned playing against it on Bucket. You just have to kill it fast. And I played it in a range where hitting a direct is kind of weird. Because I'm on the edge of my hitbox, which is good, which is what you're supposed to do on Machine. But against S+, the weapon that could just outkill, like, TTK me, I just die.
Yeah.
Also, to be honest, the guy is so far back, I shouldn't have even played against him. Like, this guy is just distracting us.
Yeah,
and we
can
2-for-1 trade out here.
Yeah.
Like, if the person is that far, like, look at where this guy is.
Yeah.
And he has 0 paint. Like, we can just let him be there.
Yeah.
Because he's threatening under a ledge, but he's not under any ledge right now.
Yeah, and we can just kind of stall it out so they can't really get anywhere here.
Yeah.
If we just like throw bombs or whatever, or like paint over it as the duelies, for example. So yeah, I agree. We don't need to rush this. This like, with like the idea in mind that we want to play fast, I get the idea of this. But also it brings us into a position where like, this is the weirdest position to play from, to play fast from as well. Because if we want to play fast, we want to take important positions. This is not an important position.
Yeah. Like, there's 0 people contesting choke from them right now, except maybe, like, I think because the bow is looking at us in pit right now as well.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind. They're looking choke. Okay. I was just guessing.
Yeah, good job on them. I mean, the brush is also looking this way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that is
so to like, some degree, we need to stop as a team to send 3 people into pit.
We fought a fight that is not around an important position. A person that we could have just stalled out. When we engaged the fight, we played it super weird, where he looked at me, I shot at him, Dooley's didn't engage while he was looking at me, and then after I died, Dooley's engaged kind of on him. Yeah. And then Octobrush ran after the Dooley's died, and we already traded out. That's kind of the worst thing that we could have done in that situation. Is look at that guy.
That's a like bit unfortunate in terms of like skirmishing / slaying,
mm,
in that like you continued to fire at them even though you were low, and the dually wasn't like ready yet to fire back at them.
yeah,
They could have been ready, like they could have dodge rolled in. But like sometimes you're scared as a dually player to just get directed, which is fair. Just
very
unfortunate
fair.
team coordination right here.
Yeah, like I could have just like either fizzied the person or hit like one shot and backed off and let the dualies do, because like they're like, look at where this guy has to look now. The dualies are all the way like left pretty much.
Yeah,
If I just bait their attention, they can just kill him, and vice versa, right?
yeah, exactly.
So me completely committing to the fight is actually quite bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have just like done something different or played the fight better.
Yeah. I think it would have been nicer to play for this position right now.
Yeah.
To like trying to contest this, maybe get in. Because like your Octobreath would be ready. Like if you fizzy this and then the Octobreath goes in while the fizzy goes off, then
No.
the
Yeah.
like squeezer would probably be caught off guard. Like those are all like hypotheticals and they aren't really worth thinking about too much. But I think like instead of really like trying to take a pit fight here, it would have been nicer to just stall this and take the important parts of the map.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, talking about team coordination, actually, team coordination is really important when trying to play fast. Because we need to be aware of where everyone is on the team. We need to know, like, not in this situation, but like if you drop left, the rest of the team needs to know that you're doing that. And if you want help, or if you want the rest of the team to take like this because everyone is focused on you. So like doing clear callouts and communicating intention with callouts is really important with stuff like this, because like every millisecond counts.
Yeah.
So we want to like say very clearly, like, I'm dropping left, help me, or like, I'm dropping left, go forward, stuff like this. It's probably worth talking about, like, with your team about, like, setting up some sort of callout system where you know what those words mean, where you know, like, on retake, if I say that I'm distracting, that means like the rest of the team should go forward and take this space or something.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
very probably thinking about it's very important, given that in the coolerless comp. I mean, look at us. We have Crab and Zip, but like we don't have any, and we have Chumps. We have actually quite decent specials thinking about it.
Yeah.
But given that we're a coolerless comp, it's not just simple as okay, bomb spam onto a cooler and then run in, lol.
Yeah.
It's very important to like have efficient retakes, because in a comp like that, it's the weakest part. So that is a good point. I'll think like I'll try to get that going.
Yes. The bow is holding a decent amount of space here, actually. Yeah, unfortunate jump. I think he died to the strikes, right?
I don't actually know. Either
Doesn't
strikes
really matter
or
anyway.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
It was kind of a Hail Mary, because it's like, okay, if the bow gets like a good hit and I get like I kill the person as soon as I jump, then it's good. Then we can like hold mid. If not, I'm gonna be respawning in base, and if I don't jump, I'm gonna be in base. I could have taken Dome before. But yeah, this is still quite a good This is actually, thinking about this, is quite a good use of Chumps, because Chumps kind of gives us the cover to move in that area and the paint.
Yes.
Like if you look at it in a second. Like, yeah, see, like, right? I play around this area and I have the paint now.
Yeah, those jumps are nice. I don't know why the crab dropped, but yeah, there was a crab on top right that ended up dropping. It's unfortunate, but I like the general retake right here. Like going forward, playing off the attention from this angle and this angle, then also having jumps. That worked out really nicely.
Yeah.
Whatever you did in voice call to communicate this retake, do it in future again.
I have to see. I don't actually know if Siler saves VODs on his channel. I have to look that up. Because all of this was streamed originally.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. No, I will tell him to do so.
Okay, there's one guy running into a base. Just on the left. Nice trade.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were low. Good job. Like, good
Yeah.
direct. That trade will probably mean we get zone. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of messy because the person was behind, but given like we had Booyah, so
Yeah,
I was like just yelling to us to like run in. Because like
yeah.
okay, like we can't look at that person right now. Like look at the zone. We don't have time.
Yeah.
Um
Well, it's a bit deceptive. You have more time than you'd probably think. But yeah, I do agree with the idea of like going forward, trying to force some sort of space. We could have also booyed the S plus and then just went in this direction anyway. But I don't hate this because it stops the pencil from being able to do anything. And pencil like 68 damage would be so bad right now. And it like moves
Yeah.
the squeezer as well. Probably chips them, so you can direct them as well. So
Yeah.
I like this booyah. And I like that we like go in with it. Yeah. And we end up trading, which is a bit scary, but like they had a Zuka, so makes sense. And we get the zone cap. The S+ is still behind us, but nice, good job. We are able to punish it because like they didn't have paint.
Yep.
Good jump. This is a like decently safe jump actually. That still puts us in the action very fast. There's a guy on yeah, there's a guy on the right. Okay. And now this is the point where I think we just take dome.
Yeah,
we get distracted by those two people again.
Yeah, it's two in pit to be honest. They all dropped into pit. So arguably if I went dome, they probably would have just pushed there anyways. But that was our only opening to take dome in the entire game. And in theory, if they didn't drop there already, it's what we should have done. I should have capitalized on it sooner.
Yeah.
Because even if I take dome and we run in, if they run like mid, we could probably like fall into their back. So it would still probably work out.
The fun thing right now, which is why I think like this would have worked, is that the pencil is dead. They can't beam us from across the map anymore, and those two players just dropped into pit. It's like rough because we died right here, and this Julie player is gonna die in a second. So like, given that happened, it wouldn't have worked because then like they're just not gonna care about you being here. They're gonna be mildly inconvenienced, but otherwise they can still go forward.
Yeah.
But like generally, if this didn't go as bad as it did, because we're like continuously putting a lot of focus on pit. If like as a team we focused like taking the important space a bit faster and just like stall out this, then I think it would have gone a lot better. Because like people who are in pit, what options do they have to get to a relevant part of the map? Like this wall, like maybe this block, and this ink rail. And apart from that, they're gonna have to super jump. Which is like, that's not a lot of options. It's a decent amount of options. It's not like, it's more than one, because we can count this wall as two and then this as a third one. But like, it's still not much. It's still something that we can stall, that the bow can stall really nicely, that like machine could stall as well, by like sloshing over ledges. And together, like you two could like stall 3 players who are in pit probably.
Yeah, arguably I need to there's not many pits, but that pit is specific. Like I can't really drop it to that pit. That's a death pit for machine. That is
Yes.
all straight.
Yeah.
I die there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like on pushing, like when you try to push, this is all flat ground. Like there's one piece of cover, and that cover isn't really good for you. It's like more useful for any like other weapon.
Yeah, I mean, S plus is like fine, but like Squeezer is so strong in that position.
Yeah.
I like fighting the Squeezer at any point in that position is just death, and I need to recognize that sooner. I don't think I actually end up dropping. I do end up.
Well, yeah, and you do die.
I commit too much for it.
Yeah.
I get too close. At least I don't completely drop though.
Yeah. It's good that you
Um,
recognize, like, to back up. Like, you did drop, technically. Like, this is a drop, and this is a significant drop as well, because it's what kills us in the end. But
Yeah.
it's good that you, like, immediately... This is a nice screenshot. It's good that you immediately recognize
Yeah,
that you, like,
peekaboo.
that you need to
Yeah.
back up here. And then just, like... Oh, the pen kills us. That makes sense. Then we get
It's actually
punished from
the
it.
Octo shot from Choke, if I saw that in the kill feed correctly.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, it actually dropped down as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So unfortunate, but Pen would have probably killed me if I ran out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I shouldn't have dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. Drops are still like commitment.
Yeah, and I committed to fight in an area.
And I guess like when we want to play fast, sometimes we are willing to take that commitment. I don't think this is a position you want to drop into though. This
no.
This doesn't really accomplish that much. Okay. S-Blast. Nice, there one. There's
I just
one. They're
generally
not one anymore. Okay.
don't want to rush that.
Yeah, I agree. I like that we like fought this really slowly. We can
being
look at it again, or like from top.
Being machine, I can still like cover the area, right? I don't need to literally run in his face.
Yes.
So that was my main thought process.
Yeah, and like you have a weird hitbox that's like can hit around those 8 edges that can like hit people on like weird parts of the map. So like yeah, use that. Don't, especially when like the S+ is already low, you don't need to force a position where they could one-shot you. You can play it slow. So like good job on recognizing that. Pen? Nice, good job. Really important kill. And then we walk into the death trap. These screenshots are consistently good. Okay.
Yeah.
That was I forgot the word for it. Like in Ultra, like Ultra Krill has a really good word for situations like this, but I can't remember.
Oh,
That's
really?
unfortunate. The idea is like you walk into a position where everyone on the enemy team is looking at you.
Well, I do agree with the idea of like wanting to push up with the Octobrush. I should have done it a tiny bit slower, because the Octobrush goes into a position, there's a wall, and Octobrush explodes. Feet get painted, and as you just saw, maybe in the pause, there is a splat bomb and a burst bomb flying at me. Yeah, so I just get like one shot.
Okay.
Even if I don't get hit by the S-Blast, I will literally get burst bombed, my feet will get painted, and I will explode.
Yeah. There's 2 thoughts I have on this. I don't think the idea of like we need to follow up on this slower is necessarily true. I think we should instead like think about taking a different angle, because that's where the Octobreath is right now. This is where one of the enemy players is. This is where they're going to be in a second, together with another enemy player. And this is where the third player is. So basically, the players right here are in a really good position to shoot this. That's like, on a like really micro scale analysis, what differentiates this position from this one is that like here you can get shot more easily from people who are respawning. And there's 2 reasons why like I think we should have gone right here. The first one is like obviously your teammate is right here. The second one is just like everyone is gonna look at that and you're really easy to punish from that position. So I don't think it's about speed. I don't think it's like that we should have done this slower. Like, because like yeah, if we are in this a second after this, then like we can dodge those bombs or something. I think it's like instead that we want to be there from a different angle. The duelist is taking a different angle right now, which I'm assuming
I don't
will
even know
always
how the
work.
duelist got there, dude.
That's a good question, actually.
I don't like. I remember when I died, seeing them there, and like, How did damage get there?
I think it's just literally that everyone on the enemy team was looking at this exact position.
Maybe. I
Because
want to
that's
look
what
at
it
the
looks
dualies.
like.
Oh, they probably just haul ass and run at it now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's like around here where you should have been as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can see like the dualies isn't even contested right now.
Yeah.
And I think it'd have been nicer to like be around here. Like taking these angles as a team, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we can think about like maybe the duelist rushes through and you stay in choke or like stay around here because duelist is faster. Like stuff like this. And now it's just
Yeah.
unfortunate that we like end up dying. I think that's another thing we should at least experiment with is the idea of like we aren't playing cooler anymore. We don't have a reason to like group up as a team apart from taking fights together. And taking fights together doesn't mean being on the same spot. It means like being in different angles towards the enemy at like the range where your weapon is the most effective.
Yeah.
So like I want us to experiment as a team, or like that's what I would probably do right now if this
Mm-hmm.
were my team, is just like talk to the team about like you being like magnets that like repel each other. And not in the sense that you don't want to take the same fights, because that's something you want to do, but in the sense that you don't want to stand on top of each other.
Right.
And in some situations this will be good, in some situations this will be bad. But just trying it out will, I think, help a lot in figuring out where like how you want to position as a team without cooler.
Mm.
Because again, what we want to do is take different angles, not be in the same spot. And that's something that's difficult. That's like one of the biggest things that like I learned on like the year where we like did a lot of improving at BLK. Is like how I can follow up on my teammates effectively and in different angles. So that just takes time figuring out, but we can somewhat speed up the
Yeah.
process if we try to do like efficient practice, if we try to specifically do practice to find out how we want to position. I'm not sure if that's something
It's
that you want
hard
to work
because
on
it's
right now.
no, I think it's good. Given that our weapons like to play in kind of different areas anyways, but
Yes.
it's kind of hard because it's like you don't just have to know where you want to
hmm
position.
hmm
You have to be aware where your teammates might want to go as well,
Yes.
so you don't go there.
Yes.
Which is hard to keep in mind of. Yeah.
Um, that will take a lot of time figuring out because a lot of
Yeah.
in-moment positioning is like fluid and weird and different. Something you can do is like at the start of a game, especially in a scrim or something, just walk everyone through like how you want to play or like what are positions that your weapon really likes to take.
Mhm.
Or like that you as a player really like to take. um, and that can like simplify things a bit because I think a lot of it will just come down to having played with each other a lot. That's at least what happened on BLK.
Yeah.
But at some point you'll be able to realize that like I know three of us are alive. I know like maybe that the Julies and the Bow and I am alive. And I know where the Julies wants to go right now because I have played with them enough. I have talked with them about how they approach positioning. So I know that like they will like push this or something. And I
Mhm.
can like everyone kind of understands each other just intuitively at some point. Getting to that point is not easy. It takes time. I think time is the biggest factor there. But yeah, you can try to speed it up a bit by like explicitly talking about this before a scrim or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the main advice I have for this, I think. Yeah, that's just over right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Won't do any notes yet. We'll go through the other game and then we'll write down funny notes. Okay. Lamblets Macromart, my beloved. My beloved.
Yeah. Very, very, what is it called? Fucking... It's very overshadowed by the other two modes, but
Yes.
it is a good mode.
It's
like
the
good
best
map mode.
Clamblets mode there is in this game.
I know you're very passionate about it.
I am. It's in no fucking map rules. Okay.
Yeah.
I
You don't
won't
want to
comment about the
play
Clamblets
fucking...
crimes. Because it's not the point.
Hey,
But there are Clamblets crimes being committed right now.
I know. No, it's kind of okay. We've talked about this, and we
Interesting,
tried
okay.
playing clams normally. Okay, this is going to look very weird to you,
Mhm.
but I did talk about info about it, and after trying it, it makes more sense. In a normal comp where you have cooler, and you can kind of like make your own openings as you go without having a lot of like risk factor.
Mhm.
It's good if everyone collects clams. In a coolerless comp, you can't really have that. Because you want everyone to run in and take positions very fast, especially on this. So you have people in their base, so you can start a push. It's kind of weird because then it's just the bow that gets clams. But if everyone gets clams, then it's just gonna be like, okay, bow has 4 clams, dualies have 3 clams, Octobrush has 3 clams, I have 2 clams. Okay, everyone else dies, bow's alive, we have 0 clams.
Curious.
Because
Yeah.
we're running around in neutral taking clams, but like
That's,
we don't have the
yeah.
time to run around in neutral and get clams.
Mhm.
Because
That's
we need to
interesting.
take those openings and take space because we can't just rely on cooler. Because if we're running around in neutral collecting clams, then they're gonna get cooler and push us away. Right?
Yeah, for opening, I definitely see that argument. Like in general neutral, it kind of goes against my idea of Clamblitz.
I know it does. And it went against how I played Clamblitz at first, but we've had a huge problem in Clamblitz where we would literally never get a push going.
Yeah.
Because of that thing. And after having switched to just look at where the dualies are right now.
Yeah, like
Look
this
at where the
opening
Octobrush
is really
is.
good.
Yeah, like if the dualies were like wrapping around left on spawn, collecting clams and getting crab,
Yeah.
we're so much slower.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
Right?
Interesting.
That is at least how we've been playing it.
I'm
After
very
like
proud
I don't
of
know.
you. I'm very proud of you
What?
because of the one thing that's most important, which is that you like that what I taught you before ended up at a point where it's not true anymore. Because like I taught you to play Clamblitz slowly. I taught you to get clams in neutral, to get clams in opening, and to not ignore the objective basically. And I am like actually really excited that like you're at a level where that, or like playing a playstyle where that necessarily doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah.
Where my teachings become incorrect or misleading
I
because
wouldn't
it's not how
put
we
it that
play
way.
it.
I think honestly I looked at clams the same way, and having talked to Info about it, it kind of opened my mind because I and I'm now looking at you, kind of you as well, kind of looked at this is the way you play clams, and that's just it. But I don't know if you ever get like maybe at some point you get people that play coolerless and they do play clams slowly, collecting clams in neutral, and then you might see what I'm explaining. Because that is basically what happened to us. Like everyone had clams, and then because Octobrush or Doolies or me would play positions, and then okay, maybe we get a trade, but then we lose our clams.
Yeah.
And we have no one to push with.
Yeah.
It's all it is literally the cooler that makes a difference. Because cooler can make you be safe and pushing those positions. In a comp that needs to be fast and needs to react on the tiniest of openings, you don't have time to collect clams in neutral, because if you get a pick, you need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go. So that is how I would at least, or what has been working for us. We don't do great this game, but it's been working for us a lot better than playing clams slowly, just simply because we don't have cooler to get in.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like really,
yeah,
that's
cool. There are some, like, obviously we're just like starting out playing like this. Paradigm Starfish have played this a lot better. But what they do on some clams maps, they just they start the game and they're just already on the enemy's plat. It's so insane.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised the way they play. Yeah.
Yeah. But as you can see, like Octobus is just already getting like
Yeah.
people.
And this is really nice because they don't have time to do anything.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they just run past, but I don't. Yeah, it is a very unfortunate coincidence where we had a big opening that was kind of like okay, lol.
Oh, we don't trade them. That's unfortunate. If
And they stole as well.
Yeah, if we traded them, then we could have just continued going forward. Unfortunate. I think to some degree, like this map in Clan Blitz means like normally to control the different like ways people have to push to the basket, which are like these four mainly, and like then this as well, I guess. And then usually this one is the one that like calls people off guard, that people don't see and people don't enforce. I think when playing fast, to some degree, it's fine to ignore this. To say like we can just go forward instead, and they probably don't have enough clamps to do anything. Because like if we trade this shot, then this doesn't do anything for them. Because then we are still in like a +2 where we still have the entirety of mid control. And where like they just gave us a pity clam. And it's just unfortunate that we go down to the shot right there. But otherwise, like we wouldn't have cared that they got through because we have all of this map control.
Yeah.
So that's just an unfortunate situation, but like the general idea seems to work well. And then that's like a really good collapse. Wrong position. Controller's doing. Hey, excuse me. Okay, it's going to the wrong things. Yeah, good job. Nice, really good direct as well. We go at this fast. Okay. Maybe just take right stack right here.
Yeah, I'm thinking as well.
Because like that's where your team is. That's why your weapon is nice, good as well. This works. Well, scary. Yeah, unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, I think going right stack there would have been faster. Yeah, I like the idea of us playing left stack right here. It's where our weapon is strong. We have to care for the pencil because they chipped us.
Yeah.
But like the general idea is nice.
Yeah, which is why when I should have run right stack first, but the reason why I just chucked like a one charge fizzy there was because I knew that I didn't have. Oh, it's fine. I'm good. I didn't have time to charge the fizzy.
Yeah.
So I just chucked it at the pen. And I was like, okay, I don't have time. Blocking clams.
Yeah. And like
this is like an instance where I could have been faster, but I was okay. I'm going left stack anyways, and there's times like right. I
think it was worth it there.
Yeah.
I'd probably still say that getting clams in neutral is still important. It's like it depends on what part of neutral we're in, and don't take my word for this and try experiment with it yourself. From the experimentation so far, it seems that like my intuitions are wrong about playing Clan Blitz Kulalis. But like my intuition would be like, especially if we have so much space right here where we want to score relatively soon, we should care about clams. And we should like go out of our way to get them as well.
Yeah, this is a very weird situation. You'll see.
We score, okay. We are in a very aggressive position. Nice. Nice. Do we have clams? Do we have clams? Unfortunate, we don't have clams.
We do not have clams. I was the last clam carrier.
Do not have
and then we don't get to
yeah. So that's still important, that we just have someone getting clams on this map. This like map specifically is really funny because there's like so many clam spawns in this region.
Oh, for sure.
that like a lot of times you can just like rotate between this clam spawn, this clam spawn, and this clam spawn, and just score from these just as one player, continuously score those. Unfortunate. I think your bow was just like focused on staying on the stack. We could have kept the basket open for longer, I think.
Yeah. Learn more about clam
Um,
pod spawns on Zapfisk's clam video. Wow. Shameless plug. Moving on.
It's funny that you did the plug.
Yeah, because I know that you talk about Mako clams, and it's one of the like I think you analyzed 3 maps, and one of them is Mako clams.
I
It
don't
was
know.
Mako clams, umami clams, and I think one other map that I don't remember.
Bro, you know my
Mm.
video better than I do.
Because I yeah, I was just looking at it to see if I missed something
yeah.
about clams.
And yeah,
But yeah, anyways.
okay. Like
Yeah,
generally,
the
what
carbon was out for bro. Sorry.
I'm liking the like team positioning a lot generally. Well, we are just always in weird positions. Like the dualies being right here, for example. Even after we like lost this base, is really funny. Fortunately, we died to the
No, but
carbon.
like look, the pen is looking at it. The T-Tech
Yeah.
is looking at it.
Like this is
T-Tech
really
even
good.
dies.
We trade
Yeah.
as well. Or like we get a pick and then we die, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just
This is really
yeah.
good.
This is yeah. They were just shot from 2 different, like, complete opposite sides.
Yes.
So that was just a good fight they took.
Unfortunate Zuka.
The really unfortunate Zuka is this one.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure to stay behind a bit of cover when they have Zuka, especially when you respawn. It's a bit stupid, but like Zuka, when you're respawning, is actually a bit stronger because they know where you are because of the respawning glow, but
Yeah.
it still one-shots you.
I should have dropped down.
Yeah.
I completely missed the point where they popped Zuka because
Yeah.
special awareness check because I didn't look
Yep.
at the Zuka that they had Zuka up, and I didn't hear the pop of the Zuka because I was respawning.
Yeah.
So my brain was just like, oh, there is no Zuka.
Wait, did they pop?
Which is why I literally go there and like fizzy
I think they
fizzy
just
the
pop on
stack,
you,
right?
Yeah, they pop it right here.
Oh, it's the squeezer. My bad. I thought they popped it before.
Yeah, no. They just like popped it on you. It's just like special awareness and being aware that like there's a guy with Zuka on left stack right now. I mean, I guess they just get it now. Do they like yeah, they get it and instantly pop it. I take it back. You had no clue. And you like I would have had no clue as well.
Well, I mean that's just kind of like it's really hard, but at some point you can like keep track of like if you're like, oh, this person hasn't had Zuka in a while. They probably are close to Zuka.
That is
but
true.
Keeping track for 4 players while you're all doing stuff, it's hard.
That is true, and to some degree, because they have double Zuka, we should be more wary of it. But also there wasn't any glow that gave it away. They just got it, insta-popped it, and because the special has almost no like startup, you just die.
Yeah.
I guess if you weren't jumping or like if you didn't throw a fizzy, you could have maybe dodged. But like, yeah, that's not your fault. What I was gonna say is if you know that if people have Zuka, try to play around cover and like where angles where they can't see you a bit more. Like behind this or like around here where it's a bit more difficult for them to hit you. And then like from here you can climb up behind this glass. This glass doesn't fully protect you, but with the Zuka nerf that they like a lot of times it does 35 damage, it is decent. Yeah, and then that's unfortunate.
Yep.
Need to care about left side a lot probably. Well, never mind, all of them are right. We don't need to care about left. Good job like cleaning this up as a team. Did we get them? Good job, okay. Nice. I like that a lot. That was really good.
Yeah.
Like this was a really fast retake, where they probably didn't expect it to happen that fast. But you had the resources, you had the paint. And you had enough people up to be able to do it. It's a good job. We do overheat a bit after, I think. Yeah. Unfortunate. Nice, good job. Nice, really good job. Good positioning as well.
I could have. I don't know. I maybe could have played a bit more aggressive, but generally I'm just like scared of the pen side line, and this I just play it slow. Like,
yeah.
I have stack. Okay, like they have cooler. They need to make a play now.
Yep. That's fine. Yeah. We team tap fight this. Nice, good job. Yeah. That's fine. Again, it's a matter of playstyle. If we want to stay here, if we want to try to take right stack, but I think generally like it's an acceptable choice. I don't know if it's wrong or like true or like wrong or correct. It works and that's enough. Like it's important to hold the space, and you do.
I mean, arguably, I just do this because they have cooler as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Like they're gonna want to take important positions, and if I go in and trade, it gets me nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, which is why I play safe there. I just, oh my god, I threw the game away here. I threw it away. I even had Booyah Bomb.
Yeah, you did have Booyah Bomb.
I had Booyah Bomb. I had the second most clams. We could have gotten lead here if I just Booyah'd probably and secured basket, but I'm bold and stupid and happy that I just killed someone. So I get this guy. I hit him twice and I miss.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's just aim. Or like not passing how they move correctly, I guess. That happens. Like stuff like that happens.
They're just weird here.
I mean, I get the idea of trying to finish this fight because you could have, like if you hit this direct or if you hit this third shot, they would have died and you probably would have stayed alive as well. Maybe not with lag,
yeah, and maybe
probably.
maybe I committed to this play instead of just booyahing because the dualies were there, and like if the dualies hit them like once, this could have probably been a 2-shot.
Yeah.
I don't actually know the damage range for dualies.
No, so that like damage does 30, and like with fall
so
off
it would have
does
actually
less,
comboed with double,
but
like 2 shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot of fall off, and dualies don't really hit fall off usually. So yeah, that would have been a 2-hit then.
Yeah. I get why I would have gone for the play. I could have done it and it would have been big, but I messed it up. Yeah. I should have just booyah'd.
Yeah.
Because now we do zip, there's no one to move with zip, and we have recall, and yeah.
Like in a lot of situations you can say that like a fight where you lose isn't a mechanical fault and it's a fault of like not taking the team fight correctly. I think in this case it's wrong to say that this is a fault of incorrect fighting. Because the fight was good. The fight was as such where like we could have won this. We could have like realistically maybe even expected our duelists to do some damage. And like the fight was good basically. It's just that we messed up like hitting them, which happens. And ideally you want situations where you don't rely on like hitting directs, but also in this situation I don't think there was like something like that was available. And like what I'm trying to get at is I think the idea of fighting that was good. I'm wondering if we want to jump out here. Maybe we just want to stay there.
Yeah, I might have played it. Given that they won, like, look how many people are left. I probably should have just stayed. But I saw 2 people behind the wall, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
And it's fine. Okay, what I'm thinking right now is you don't have to stay on left stack, but you can still like back up to here, like either here or like up onto here. And that would be better because then you still hold some of the space. And like you don't have a situation where your entire team is on plat, which is about to happen.
Yeah.
It's basically about enforcing the space that you have. Because through jumping back, it's like we basically give a wide open opportunity for them to run here, which I'm not sure if they will use. The better player gets, like the better players get, the more they will use opportunities like this. Where like if they were aware that all of you are here, they could just beeline this. Like they could take all of this left side of the map.
Mm.
Which I don't think they end up doing, which is like on them. But yeah, I think it would have been better to back up, basically, instead of jumping.
Yeah, it would have, because now the squeezer scores as well. And they score for nothing, but given that everyone just died,
Yeah.
we're in a real pickle now.
Booyah, booyah, booyah. Thank God. Weird panic booyah.
Yeah.
Somewhat works.
My idea was that I knew they had a ball, so
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of like cut off that area. I could have maybe booyed further, further in front. I was also panicking because they had strikes. So
Yeah.
I need to literally like throw it as soon as I get it, or I'm probably gonna die to it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the strikes hit you here, but yes, I get being scared of the strikes. This is a bit of a weird position. Yeah, we probably can't hold this because like there's a threat of an incoming booyah bomb, but also like power climb. Also, I think that's the person that's jumping right now.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have looked at the jump instead with the booyah. But yeah, like either throw it on left stack or on the jump, I think. But yeah, I get panic. That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know if you look at this freeze frame, the strike is right behind me. This might barely not hit me, but if I am barely in the hitbox, we both know how strikes are. I'm gonna get annihilated if I just have a pixel in strikes.
You are dead if the strike hits you. But also, like, we don't really have the opportunity to hold it anyway, because like they are really close to knocking out. If this PC lands, then they knock out, and if some other person gets clams, then they knock out as well. So I don't think we really have the option to hold it for longer anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunate.
And now we're in retake. It's kind of weird, because we need to have a clean, fast retake. The second we drop 2 players, it's already pretty much over.
In this case, we just need to go fast. Like, you don't have any time. And I like the idea that you had of like trying to force this angle when maybe like the rest of the team can try to force other angles. But yeah, the enemy team plays this well, and so you can't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's just over. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, sadly what knocked us out of winning silver Alpha 1.
Ah, was that finals or was that like
it wasn't finals. It was very close. That team actually went on to win Alpha 1 silver. The one that beat us here. But it was 2 games that were just like really close, and we could have probably like played it better if we just did some other plays. It's very sad. But yeah. That's how it goes sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And I still like this because I still feel like we played decently well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Notes time.
Yep, it is notes time. I just had to ban a bot from Twitch real quick.
Oh yeah, I saw. Don't worry. You're chilling.
Okay. Notes time. We'll get into the overview of like one game, just to have better background for notes. Okay. So playing fast. We talked about a few aspects for it. Okay. Does the pink work, or should I use black? I probably should use black. Well, we'll just use black. And yeah, again, everything I say right here, don't take it like from authority. You saw my video of how to use what I say. It's a perspective, and it might not be the correct one, but it is a perspective. Okay, so we saw like through something like where we wanted to go to Dome, or like where we could have gone to Dome, or like where we went into Pit, on how positioning is really important for playing fast, and trying to get to positions that the enemy can't contest fast is basically what makes playing fast. It's not about just running in mindlessly, it's about being efficient. That's the first note I write down. Efficient in the sense that we want to learn how far we can go. We want to learn what angles we can take. Without dying pretty much. That's something that's in the moment a lot of times, where there's like a really, really small opportunity to go for a play where you can take a big off angle or something like that. And that's something we want to recognize fast. Yeah, like recognizing small opportunities, basically. Recognizing opportunities. I didn't mention this explicitly before, but it was implicitly in some of the ideas.
Yeah, don't worry.
Opportunities fast. Because if we do something fast, and if it works out, because like if there's an opportunity to do something, then being fast will catch enemies off guard a lot of time. If you can get to positions where they don't expect you to get to, if you can use those like really small openings to get behind them, stuff like that is really strong. Then like playing off attention with like drops like this, what we're basically doing is making them look at us, and then your team can play off that by either like following up on you, like on the fights that you create, or by taking space entirely, like on entirely different parts of the map. How do we write this down? Taking attention, and from that like taking and following up on attention, basically.
Yeah.
And that's something that oh wow.
Oh
this
my
is really
god.
nice, actually.
What the?
Wait, this is great.
What the fuck?
Nice.
Replay
Yo.
mode is working as intended.
Yo. I think this is just the opening where like it's white.
Holy. What?
I've never
I
had this happen
guess.
before.
Wait, but you did you tap anything?
Yeah, I pressed L for like a millisecond accidentally.
Huh. Well, that's useful.
That's nice. I have a
The more
clean
you
white
know.
background to write on.
That works.
Okay. And then follow-up requires like good communication in team, with your team. Follow-up, and then the third subnode will be callouts, basically, or like communication in general. And that's like a relatively big one to work on. Like understanding what you want to do as a team. That's not necessarily, actually, I'll do another point. I guess like implicit understanding or something, where that will come over time. With implicit understanding, I mean like understanding what your team wants to do and where your team wants to position just from having played with them a lot. And like to some degree talking about it explicitly before a game or something.
Yeah.
And then that's a kind of implicit thing that will make things really fast. If you already know where your team roughly wants to go, if you know where like your team likes to position, then you don't have to talk about it and you don't waste time. And that's something that's really important when trying to play fast. It's just like understanding each other without any like waste of time through communication, basically. That being said, callouts is still important.
For sure.
Because like you have a lot of different options available to you all the time, and you want to communicate which of those options you take. So something like a left drop, for example, it's really important to call that out because it requires follow-up, or like either in the sense that you want people to help you, or in the sense that you want people to ignore you and look at like take areas and other parts of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. In both cases, it's good to communicate that directly, that you want that to happen and not something else, because that means your team can follow up faster.
Mhm.
That's like the big points. A minor point is like using Booyah to stay alive, which you've done really well so far. In some cases, we can like recognize that we have Booyah and use it as a survival tool a bit more, because Booyah is a really good survival tool. Um, it can be a bit wacky if you play against Strikes or Stamper, but usually like it's still really, really strong. And with the buffed like
Yeah.
radius, it's just a good special. And it works really nice as like continuation. If you get into a spot where you like maybe get a pick or just get threatened, you can just pop Booyah and stay alive. Yeah, Booyah to stay alive. I won't write that down, but if you're taking notes right now, then you can. Um, recognizing opportunities, taking attention. Was there anything else that was important?
I'm just thinking about what like my team currently does well
Hmm.
and what we need to work on.
Yes.
I think to some degree callouts are very important because I
Okay.
feel like especially Zyler,
Hmm.
someone who's played on Idiots in Chat and Pringle Cat, like has been in Div 5 for a long time.
Hmm.
I think he's built a lot of like implicit understanding.
Yes. Hmm.
I also know from VOD reviews that Zyler is way more aware of where people are
Hmm.
than I am. Um, which I think makes callouts even more important
Hmm.
because looking at replays as well, Zyler goes for plays that are very good, but I feel like I don't quite know when he's going for the plays, and I need to
Hmm.
know.
Okay.
Similar to damage, similar to us all needing to kind of like because Octobrush can like trade out jumps and jump
Hmm.
in quite well,
Yes.
and Zyler has told us repeatedly that we need to call out when if there's people around his jumps better.
Hmm.
So I kind of want to do that as well.
Hmm.
At least when I'm there. But I feel like overall, call outs, and following up on fights is probably what we need to work on the most
Hmm.
because apparently also for the part of taking attention. When I take like make plays, for example, Nomami, I dropped down, but I didn't call out that I was just baiting. If I called out that I'm
Yes.
taking
Hmm.
attention left and that they should run through poke, that would have probably been such a coordinated play that would have probably
Hmm.
ended very well.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So while I have, when I was on Bucket, have gotten better at like calling my intentions with strikes and what I want my team to do with strikes.
Hmm.
Now that I'm back on machine and I'm more focused on, and in a cooler's comp, I'm more focused on doing stuff with my main weapon.
Hmm.
Calling out what I want the other people to do when I bait for attention is something I need to work on. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that is the biggest part.
Okay. I also added positioning to the notes, just in the
Hmm.
idea of we want to think about as a team where each
Yeah.
of us are and how we can follow up on each other. Not being on top of each other, but trying to be in like positions where we can help each other in fights and take different angles on opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need any like guidance on how to improve on like callouts or stuff like that? I think we've talked about this before, but I don't remember what exactly I
we
said
we
back then.
have talked about efficient callouts on Sonata, but that was I think 2 months ago.
Okay.
Um, I think overall I get the gist of it. Um, I don't actually know how to improve on callouts as a team.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a
Like
big
what?
question then.
Mhm.
Um, the okay. I will mention one model that really like helped me with callouts, which is I think it comes from Reborn originally, who described callouts as a conversation, as opposed to just like people yelling at the mics each individually. As like a conversation in the idea of one person brings something up, like honestly, let's get back to the map. Like one person brings something up, like there's a splash here, and hopefully the call is a bit more communicated.
Yeah.
And then we say like, there's a splash here, fight with me. And then like if this person calls that out, then this person says, I can help you. Then this person says, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And that's the general idea of how we want to do like a lot of fighting callouts, where someone brings something up. Usually that'll be a fight that they're taking, or that they want to take. I'm fighting left. Splash left, help me. Calls like this, and then the rest of the like people that are able to follow up respond with how they can follow up. Something like skirmishing left, help me, and then someone else says fight, 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 I'm with you. Stuff like this, with the idea of responding to each other is the important bit, basically. Not just randomly yelling different ideas into the mic, but like responding to each other and answering what other people said. Then how to improve callouts, and it depends on what kind of callouts, but I'm assuming we're mostly talking about like fighting callouts right now, not like the macro scale callouts where we want to say like I have grab, wait for jumps or something, because those callouts are like they just kind of come up, and if someone says them, then sure we can follow that idea. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're mostly trying to work on like fighting callouts and following up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, what I'd say is to first of all like think about that model and talk about that model with your team. That
Mm-hmm.
we want to implement that kind of structure a bit more. Of like someone brings up a fight and then other people respond if they can help or if they can't help. And that's a good first step. And I'd honestly encourage you to do it very rigorously at the start. To, for example, just have a scrim where you just try to do that all the time. Where, like, literally, if someone brings up a fight, then every 3 other members on the team respond if they can help or not.
Yeah.
And then you do that for one scrim. You realize which of the parts of that are important and which aren't. For example, like the bow saying I can't help in every second engagement will probably not be that important.
Yeah.
But like calls of like the other aggressive front lines will be very important. And from that, you kind of get an understanding of which of those ideas are important to communicate and which aren't. And in that way, we can practice like callouts very directly by doing a bit too many of them, or like applying this concept too rigorously, and then going back afterwards to like normal standpoint. To some degree, you don't need to wait a whole scrim to do that. You can realize after like 4 games what the good amount is instead of doing the full amount. But yeah, that's the first thing. The pen is doing things. Conversation, and then and then I don't actually know how to spell this. I'm hoping this is the correct spelling.
I believe so.
Rigorous practice in the sense that we want to do it too much, and then at some point we realize how much is the correct amount. That's one thing. another like practice method for callouts, which I think is really good, is to mute certain players on the team. There's different ideas for that. One thing you can do is only have one person talking and everyone else just listens. That's usually good for like a lot of those macro scale callouts of like coordinating the team with when we want to go in and what resources we want to use when. And it's not that helpful when we want to talk about like fights, because with good fights you need to talk between each other constantly, right? So
Yeah.
this kind of idea of only one person talks is not as useful. Something you can still do is mute different people, not mute everybody but one person on the team, but like maybe mute two persons, maybe mute one person, maybe in some cases even deafen one person. and like for example through deafening you can see which callouts like were really super necessary, because if a person is deafened, then we will lose the game because of that in some circumstances, where because they're deafened, they don't hear that the rest of the team is fighting right here, right now. But that is a good thing, because afterwards in the game, we know that that was a call that would have been really necessary, that we didn't get because we intentionally didn't get it. But like
Right.
it would have helped us basically. So you can experiment with this a bit. In the because it's not as clear like what parts of this are helpful when trying to make good fights, as opposed to like macro scale callouts. You might have to experiment with this practice method a bit if you want to use it. Of like how many people you want to mute and who you want to mute if you want to deafen anyone. But it can be really nice to some degree also just to force people to say something. Because what can happen in some cases is that like in a team someone ends up doing a lot of the calling and other people do way less of the like short calling.
Yeah.
And when trying to like play really fast and trying to like take a lot of fights constantly, which is what Coolerless basically wants to do, you lose a lot of potential if like some people end up in a more quiet role, and that's something that you can avoid with this. If you like mute a lot of the people that usually talk a lot, then this can really help force the people who usually don't talk a lot to step up and do their part correctly.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. I'll probably try that.
I'm thinking if there's anything else. I think the main like important thing is just to have focused practice. This is what I like hopefully have said in every coaching session with you so far. But get yourself a really clear goal, like improving callouts, and then a
Just doing
subset
that.
of like, yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
doing that. Just like improving callouts is a bit too general, I'd say. It's helpful, but it's good to have an idea of how you want to improve it and what specifically you want to improve. Because
Right.
then you have a more like objective metric you can use. So yeah, that's what I'd say is important. Is whatever you try to do, if you want to use those practice methods or not, if you find them helpful or not, whatever. The important thing is just that you go in with the plan of improving your callouts, and that's basically the only thing you try to do in that scrim. You don't like care about anything else. You don't care about winning. You don't care about losing. You don't care about that one play where you could have used Booyah instead of running in, because you only care about callouts. And that kind of like very direct practice will help a lot with like improving that goal as fast as you possibly can. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good.
that's the most important thing, I think. Okay. Actually, I'll keep this
That
up for a
sounds
while.
good.
Do you have any other questions?
I think that's pretty much it. We've been here for a while. As always, it's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a
It was
lot.
good.
Thanks a lot for being on. This was less scuffed than I thought it would be, to be clear. I thought the stream would break like 2 seconds into this into the coaching session.
Aw,
That's
it's
what I
fine.
assumed would happen.
Would
But
have been fine because you had someone on that you know.
exactly,
Yippee! I have the
exactly.
safety net.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like, apart from you just being the first person who signed up, it was also just really nice that it was you because it's something new I'm doing. So it's nice having
Yeah.
at least some sort of consistency.
Yeah. This is cool.
Okay.
This is like cool. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to keep you up. But yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Thanks for being on. Thanks
No
everyone for
worries,
watching.
anytime.
And hope you were able to learn.
Watch more educational content on YouTube/Zapfest.
Okay, now you've crossed most things off the list that I definitely sent you at the start of this session.
Right.
The one thing that's still missing is like and subscribe. So if you could roll that line, please.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Also, make sure while you're all on the way to check out more educational content, make sure to like and subscribe.
Exactly.
And click the bell icon to not miss any educational uploads from the educational Splatoon YouTuber Zapfest. So is am I getting paid now?
I'll pay you 50% of the money I make from this video.
Let's go.
Which is nothing.
Holy. W. I'm getting 50% of 0.
Yes. Which now it's your responsibility to figure out what 50% of 0 is. Okay. Good night, everyone. Good evening to those who are watching from NA. And see you next